Good evening. Welcome to the Design Review Board meeting of May 22nd, 2025. It is now 5:01. The DRB meeting is now called to order. Please refrain yourself speaking during this meeting, and please silent or turn off your cell phones at this moment. The DRB meeting is broadcast live on GTV, viewable on Spectrum Cable, Channel 6, and AT&T Uverse Channel 99. Meetings are also streamed live in high definition on the city's webpage at glendaleca.gov/live. Also on youtube.com/myglendale, and on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire devices using a free app called ScreenWeave and choosing Glendale TV from the menu. Meetings are also archived on the city's website for viewing anytime at glendaleca.gov/agendas. For public comments and questions during the meeting, please call 818-937-8100. City staff will be submitting questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person. Current DRB agendas and staff reports are available by visiting the website at www.glendaleca.gov. Record of decisions for all projects will be posted online on the Planning Division's website. Please note that any appeal of a case heard today must be filed 15 days, calendar days of the DRB decision date. Meetings are also archived, and the appeal application is available online at www.glendalepermits.com. This will be roll call. Board Member Lockroff?
Present.
Board Member Halajian?
Present.
Board Member Welsh?
Present.
And Mr. Chair Koskanian?
Present.
And with Board Member Simonian absent today. Reports regarding the posting of the agenda. The agenda for the today's meeting was posted on the city's website on May, I believe, the 12th, and posted on the bulletin board outside the City Hall. For approval of meetings for the previous meeting agenda, which is on, the previous meeting was on the 13th. Do we have approval minutes for a motion to approve them?
I make a motion.
Okay. Okay, this will be roll call. Board Member Lockroff?
Yes.
Board Member Halajian?
Yes.
Board Member Welsh?
Yes.
And Mr. Chair Koskanian?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Moving on to oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Design Review Board may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate on the decision. Do we have any speaker cards for oral communications?
Nope.
Okay, moving on. Now I see there are no old business, and we're going to jump right into new business. We do have 2 items tonight. The first one is located at 3540 Las Palmas Avenue. I'm going to turn this over to the case planner, Colema Diaz, and she will provide a brief presentation and overview of the project.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Joe. Good evening, Good evening, Design Review Board members and members of the public. The case before you is Design Review Application Number PDR 004549-2025 for a proposed development located at 3540 Las Palmas Avenue. The project site is located in the North Glendale area within the Spar Heights neighborhood. It is zoned R1, low density residential, floor area District 2. The site is a vacant rectangular shaped interior lot totaling 6,500 square feet. Access to the lot is provided from the street frontage on the east side of Las Palmas Avenue. The site is relatively flat and includes 1 street tree in the parkway. The Public Works Urban Forestry staff noted that there is an abutting Coast Live oak tree near the northeastern property boundary that may be subject to encroachment from the proposed new fence. A condition of approval is recommended to obtain required permits from Urban Forestry for the replacement of the existing street tree with a new street tree, as well as protection measures for the existing abutting Coast Live oak tree. The neighborhood fabric primarily consists of minimal traditional and modest Spanish-style houses, both 1-story and 2 stories, the majority being a single story. The project provides a 25 street front setback and a 6-foot interior setback from the northern property. The house placement is relatively centralized within the lot, allowing for open areas on all sides with a detached 2-car garage positioned at the rear, which is consistent with the surrounding neighborhood pattern. 2 conditions of approval are recommended. 1, to clarify the proposed decorative paving material for the driveway, and another to update the landscape plans to comply with the state's model water efficient landscape ordinance. The proposal consists of a 2,123 square foot single-story house with 4 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms, and a 434 square foot detached 2-car garage at the rear. The roof of the house and detached garage will be covered with 2-piece clay roof tiles. The intersecting gable roofs, which are consistent with the proposed architectural style, help reduce long spans and overall mass. The gutters and downspouts are appropriately placed for efficient water drainage. A centrally located skylight will be included to provide natural light to the foyer. The design, placement, and quantity of the sconces are appropriate to the overall design concept. The recessed black windows are appropriately placed and are consistent with the architectural style. No windows from public rooms directly face neighboring properties, maintaining privacy. A condition of approval is recommended, requiring the drawings and window product information to be consistent and clearly indicated, and indicate the proposed fiberglass window materials. The detached 2-car garage is compatible with the materials and style of the main house, with an overall height of 12 feet and 4 inches. In the section views, we see the project proposes a 9 feet 8 inch clear height ceiling throughout the house. In the upper left image, the street view west, we see the front entry is well integrated into the design, and an open wood trellis allows light and air into the main entry patio, creating a transition space from the front yard. The design incorporates wall articulations on each facade and the house, which helps define individual areas and reduce the overall mass. Overall, the consistent use of materials and color palette of white, shades of brown, and black, including 2-piece clay tile roof, are consistent with the proposed modest Spanish architectural style. Some of the proposed materials include smooth white stucco, black wrought iron gate, patio gate, the wood trellis, dark brown wooden main entry door and garage door, and a 5-foot tall espresso wood boundary fence. As it relates to public comments, staff did not receive any public comments or inquiries, and at this point, staff recommends approval with the following 4 conditions. 1, to clarify the proposed decorative paving material, the decorative driveway paving material appropriate to the overall design, and update the plans to ensure consistency in paving material and specifications noted throughout. Number 2, update the window schedule and the material board to be consistent and to clearly indicate the proposed fiberglass window material. Number 3, obtain all required permits from Urban Forestry for replacement of an existing street tree, installation of a new street tree, and protection of the existing abutting coast live oak tree located near the northern property boundary. Number 4, update and provide landscape and irrigation plans certified and prepared by a licensed landscape architect and in compliance with the state model water efficient landscape ordinance, also known as MWELO, and include the existing abutting coast live oak tree and the required new street tree. It was suggested Magnolia grandiflora, commonly known as southern magnolia, on the plans. This concludes my presentation. I am available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for staff? Nope. No questions? All right. Could open it up to the community. We have the 2 designers. We have Savan Belyan and then Vartan Kasmian. I don't know who would like to go first.
Good afternoon. Sevan Benlian, designer on the project. See a lot of familiar faces. So as you guys can tell, we tried to make it as easy as can be for you guys, because as I sat there for too long, I understand how difficult that job tend to be. So we made it very simple. The owner initially wanted to look at a 2-story, and we've looked at the area and we said, listen, most of the area is 1 story. Let's just stick with 1 story, something modest, something below the square footage required, something simple. We selected a style. Initially, we were thinking about like a modern, but a Spanish kind of fit better within the neighborhood. So we've done something that fits well, integrate well, and I don't think I need to get into design or explaining anything because Columba's report was phenomenal, and I'm here for any questions, but I think this is a straightforward case.
Thank you. Any questions for Sevan?
I have a question.
Sure.
I didn't, maybe I missed it in the package, but the balls that are at the end of the clay tiles, what material is that? I just was
So the
wanted to-
clay tiles is the two-piece
Okay.
clay tiles, and
Okay.
which is the more the higher end one
Right.
than the one piece. And one thing just to correct on that report, I know Columba mentioned fiberglass. We might have that as a typo on the plans. They're going to be aluminum clad,
Okay.
aluminum wood clad, which is a better window.
Right. But to clarify, what I'm talking about is at the peak and at the end of the roofs, eaves, there are these kind of,
We have
like-
wood. We have
they're
some
wood, it's a-
wood details as well.
So at the peak, the white, at the peak of the rendering here, it looks like a ball or something. I don't know if it's, that's a peak, oh, yes.
It's your yeah.
Maybe she could pull it up just to kind of highlight.
Right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your first step, which is just concrete.
Okay, just wanted to verify. Okay, thank you.
I thought you were talking about underneath.
I
not on
understand,
the-
yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about, there's a window detail on page A10. I just want to know, is that an accurate representation of the window detailing? Because it looks like it has like a wood kind of a frame near the top.
Can we pull it up?
Sorry, I'm looking for it in the plans.
All the windows were supposed to have that kind of recess. That's why we used 2x6 walls around the entire exterior, because we wanted the window to be kind of like set in. So
Yeah, so when I look at that, I see that there's like a wood framing member above that looks like it's exposed and not covered by stucco at the top there.
no, it should all be covered by
Will
stucco.
all be covered.
Maybe the detail isn't updated, but
Okay.
anyways, the window needs to be aluminum too,
Okay.
aluminum clad.
I'm wondering about the choice of windows. You know, we have sliding windows on the sides, you know, the north and the south, and then it's casement windows, it's some fixed glass, it's some more traditional looking doors and windows. So can you talk about what your thinking is in terms of why using sliding glass on the sides?
So initially, we wanted the front facade to have like your hung window, which is like typical. We want to, but for the easy of use, like talking to the client and for the whoever's gonna end up like living in that house, since the side windows aren't visible from anywhere, I think sliding windows are more user friendly, if you would. But
Okay.
again, it's not a deal breaker. If we need to go with a different style, we can go with a different style. But I think staff thought that whatever we've done was kind of consistent. The fixed ones, some areas you want to have these fixed windows. I mean,
Okay,
it just makes sense.
okay, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions?
One simple question. The garage door, is it glass door? Is it going to be visible from the street?
No, it's wood.
It's wood.
There's no.
I'm sorry,
It's- go-
is that the backside?
Yeah,
I might have,
that's
yeah.
the door.
yeah, I might have, okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. I didn't see the
This is
caption at the bottom.
this is the kitchen living that opens up to the backyard.
Gotcha, okay.
Thank you. Any other questions for Sevan?
No.
Thank you,
Sevan.
thank you.
Thank you. Does Vartan still want to come up? You're good? Okay. We have Jack Kargodorian. If you could just say your name again, please.
Jack Cargadorian. Pleasure seeing everyone. Great staff report. Very well done. I just want to say I'm the owner of the property. We got the property about a year ago, and that's when we went with Sevan. Looked around, and pretty much whatever Sevan was saying, we looked all around the neighborhood and wanted something that was very modest. No type of. I actually built a house on Del Valle in Verdugo Woodlands, and that was the house that I'm living in now. And we went back and forth about mansionization and trying to keep the heights lower. And so I didn't want to go back and forth this time. We wanted it one shot for everybody, to be happy, along with all the neighbors and everything. So that's why initially I had said let's go with its 2-story, because I felt like the square footage was a little bit on the lighter side for 2,100 square feet, size family for 4 on a brand new house. But, Sevan said, to be more, fair for the whole street and the whole neighborhood, let's try to maximize what we can with a modest roof pitch and normal ceiling heights and, just make a nice Spanish type modern house that's consistent with, with the whole Las Palmas area. We're very excited to actually start the project. We think it's very, very fitting for the street. I'm actually a builder. Most of the properties I do are on the west side, so the house is going to be in the utmost, the best quality that it's possibly could be. Yeah, I think we went over the doors and windows. I don't know why it said fiberglass. We'd use definitely a higher-end Windsor type or a Kobe type aluminum clad out with the wood inside. The reason why we do sliders now on the back end is because you want to have that outdoor-indoor feel that a lot of the houses do. If you do a French type of door, you don't have that full opening whenever you have some kind of party, so you have that indoor-outdoor feel. Other than that, all the windows are all casements, and we did add some patio doors there, a regular French type, just to go with the natural architecture, of a Spanish modern house. So I just want to let you guys know, we're excited. We're excited to get this project started, and I thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you. All right, we don't have any more cards, so nothing else. We'll close it out over here and we'll go into deliberation. Oh, sorry, do we have any callers?
And just for the record, there's nobody on the phones.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, and we can go into deliberation now. Did anyone want to start?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you to staff and also to the applicant and architect. I'd say overall, I'm in support of the project with the conditions that staff has brought forward. I think it's well articulated, it's modest, which I appreciate that you mentioned that you went through that process of being considerate of the neighborhood. Yeah, I think it's appropriately designed, and I don't have any, other than staff's conditions, anything significant. I would be open to discussion about window operation, because I do like to have consistent windows throughout a home, but I think the back door in particular, I understand the need for a slider, but perhaps the side ones, I'd like to hear what my colleagues think. But other than that, I agree with staff's conditions and support the project. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree. I support the project. I think scale-wise, it's, as you said, it is modest. It is appropriate for the neighborhood. Props for doing a single-story in a mostly single-story neighborhood. I always appreciate when that is done. I think overall the design is very well done, very consistent, and I too would like to have a discussion about the windows. I have zero problem with the doors and everything you're doing at the back. It's not visible from the street, and even though it's a big scale opening door, it's still got some grids and stuff like that. So it's has a nod to the style of the house. To me, it was just the sliders. I would prefer to see something, even if you go with sliders, maybe some grids or something like that to just create a little bit more consistency of the look. I would prefer casements, but I'm not going to put my foot down on that one, but that would be my only real comment about it. Otherwise, I generally am supportive of the project, so, thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'll go next. Overall, I'm in full support of the project. I think, like my colleague said, you all have done a great job with the design. Have family in the area, so I think it's gonna be a perfect fit for the community. And I like how it's very consistent with the houses that are nearby. In regards to the windows, yeah, I'm open up to the idea to hear out what you all think about it as well. But I think Sevan, who's been on the DRB, if he's how can I say it? I don't think it needs to be a requirement, but we can put it as a consideration for him. And yeah.
By the way, the old casement,
If we could, no, if we can keep it at the discussion at the podium, if the board, so that it goes into record. Thank you.
public hearing is closed, and I'm just saying it's all gonna be casement, so. Just for the record.
Perfect. All right, yeah, and I'm overall in support of the project.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Overall, again, I'm support of the project, very wise how you utilize the site, and then you came up with the design efficiently, and the scale and the size of it blends perfectly with the neighborhood, so kudos to that. And since already addressed the windows, I guess, we can just take the staff's recommendations and move the project forward. So, thank you.
Should we add a condition, since we've had a discussion about that and they're talking about it? Should we just say, per the applicant's submission, there'll be casement windows on the sides instead of sliders?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, so with that, I'll move for approval with those conditions, the 4 conditions, and the adjustment with the casement windows.
I second the motion.
So that was a motion by Board Member Welsh and second by Board Member LaCroix.
Correct.
LaCroix, sorry. Okay, and it was moved to approve with the 4 conditions from the staff report and with the amendment, including in condition number 2 to the street front windows to be casement instead of sliders.
Well, I think it was all the windows on the sides, north and south.
And the windows on the sides. Okay. Okay. Are we ready for roll call?
Yes.
Board Member Lockworth?
Yes.
Board Member Welsh?
Yes.
Board Member Halajian?
Yes.
Okay. Chair Kaskanian?
Yes.
Okay. Motion moves forward. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Very
you.
good. We do have a second item this evening. If we could just take maybe a 30-second break. We don't need to take a actual break, but just if we could just pause for 30 seconds while we do transitions. Anyone have a? Does he have a card to submit?
Were your speaker?
Well, I don't know, there's a guy over there. I'll ask him before I start, that's all.
I'll go check. I'll go change it.
Yeah, he's walking out.
I only have one speaker card, so I don't know if there was anyone else who wanted to speak. There's a speaker card right here on the side.
Or perhaps I'll just kind of ask him if he would like to submit his speaker card.
Okay.
Yeah. Sir? Sir, gentleman in the green, did you have a speaker card you want to fill out, or did you want to speak on behalf, and you folks over there? Just double checking, that's all.
I just have one question.
Well, we're about to move on. Did you want to speak about an item?
I just have a question, if there will be storyboards, like the string and the studs that they do when you add onto a house.
Story polls. Okay, so are you here to speak? Are you here to speak for a specific item? Or the second item or the first item? Are you here to talk about the?
First item, I just am curious, on that vacant lot now, will there be the studs and the string
Before I move on, just to accommodate the person in the audience, that's usually required for two-story buildings, but I don't think it's going to be for that one. Okay, so moving on to the next item.
Sorry.
No, no worries, no worries. Want to be accommodative as much as possible. Okay, so
Before you just move on. If you all do have any other questions, I don't know if there's a business card for Columbia that they could also just get, or a phone number. If you have any questions in regards to the property, or if you guys have anything you need, you could just reach out directly to the planner.
if you could just wait momentarily, I'll have somebody get you Columbo's card so that if you have any questions, she'll direct you. Okay. All right, good evening, chairs, members of the board. The second item this evening is located at 1714 Del Valle Avenue. Oops. The subject property is approximately a 6,100 square foot lot located in the R1 zone. It's located in the Verdugo Woodlands neighborhood between Kenyatta Boulevard and the Verdugo Wash, and it's surrounded by other R1 properties, with the exception of an R1650 properties along the west, as you can see on the lower left-hand corner of on the screen. In a very high summary of the scope of work, the project is to construct an approximately 1,200 square foot, one-story, single-family residence. And this will take place on a flag-shaped lot that was created by SB9 lot split application. And before I dive deep into the staff's analysis, I kind of want to go into the background so it kind of brings a little bit more clarity of what's going on with this project here. So prior to the lot split, the site consisted of a single lot which had a single-family dwelling. It had a detached garage, and also was improved with a 600 square foot ADU at the rear. And in 2024, an SB9 lot split was approved to create two parcels. The first parcel being at the front, which is regular shape, about 7,700 square feet, which fronts Del Valle, and then parcel number two, which is the subject lot, and also highlighted in yellow, which is approximately 6,100 square foot flag-shaped lot at the rear. And you may notice that there are two accessory buildings at the rear, which was the ADU and the detached garage that once serviced the front unit. The garage and ADU remain on the subject lot and will be accessory to the proposed dwelling that's being presented before you tonight. The SB9 lot split was approved earlier this year. However, it is still pending recordation. It is still going through the process for a covenant agreement and so in recordation. And just to jump into site planning for the proposed project, the new single-family residence is approximately 133 feet away from the street. It'll be located behind the existing garage as well as the existing primary residence or the front existing residence. And it's going to be constructed with 6-foot interior setbacks, which all comply with the zoning code. In terms of parking, the SB9 ordinance requires only one parking space for SB9 projects, whether it's going to be SB9 developed housing unit or a lot split. When it requires one parking space, and it can be uncovered. It does exempt it if it's within a half mile of a high-quality transit area, which this subject property is not. So as a result, the subject property will be serviced with one parking space within the existing garage. The front unit, which is the front parcel, they're going to improve with at-grade parking at the rear, and they will share the common driveway. So that's how they're going to be providing parking, and they're going to suffice required parking for both lots according to SB9 ordinance rules. And just to jump into the mass and scale, it's a modest single-family home. It's going to be 16 foot tall. It's going to be significantly set back away from the street. It's, like I mentioned before, it's going to be largely concealed by the front unit. It's going to be behind the detached garage. You know, overall, staff does support the massing of the project, but does have some minor comments as far as the design of the project. And the first one being, staff recommends, as you may notice from the animation here, you know, just raising the gabled roof, maybe a foot or two, just to provide a variation in roof height, maybe some visual interest. We understand it's in the back, but just to enhance the overall, it's a recommended condition just to enhance the overall design of the project. Moving on to design and detail, it does include some, you know, very basic Spanish-style materials. It's going to be stucco painted in white. It's going to have Spanish S-tiles. It's going to have a frosted, it could be a wooden or a fiberglass exterior doors. We can clarify that with the applicant. And some offset nail-on vinyl windows, and some of the details are also on your plans tonight, which, and also, staff does recommend some enhancements to this proposal. One, staff does recommend, as you may notice on this animation here, to have half-barrel caps at the gabled rake. Staff did look at the Brava brand or the manufacturer of the roof tiles. Those are S tiles. Staff is just recommending, to match the aesthetic as in the rendering, to finish off the cap, not with S tiles. I don't think they had the intention, but we just kind of want to point out that it would be nice if the parapet caps and as well as the gable rake had that aesthetic as shown as in the rendering with a half-barrel cap on top of it. Also, to avoid blank facade, as you can see here on the front facade, maybe enhancing it with a window at the bedroom, just to avoid a blank, tall wall. And also on the opposite, on the left-hand side, just to avoid, further blank walls on that side, staff is recommending some type of embellishment, such as, and staff gave a recommendation or an example, such as like a Spanish-style niche with tiles in the inset, just to liven up the design. And we understand that behind that volume, it's a kitchen. There's probably going to be some cabinets there, and we understand why there's not a window there, but that's just a minor comment that staff has. Overall, staff does recommend approval with conditions. A single opposition letter was provided in terms of parking on the street that adding this single-family home would cause onto the street, but overall staff can answer any clarifications as I had mentioned during the report. The parking for the proposed unit will be within the existing garage, and then the rear, or actually the front unit, will have at-grade parking at the back, which is compliant with SB 9 ordinance rules. So, yeah, overall staff recommends approval conditions. If the board would like me to kind of go over these 4 conditions, it's basically the minor conditions I kind of highlighted before. I'd be more than happy to, but this concludes my presentation. If there's anything I can answer, I am available.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So, okay, so the driveway, the new lot has become a flag shape, okay? So the existing driveway that's there is part of the rear parcel, but the front still has some kind of an easement rights to use that, correct?
Correct.
The garage that's existing, though, is on the new parcel number 2. And will it be for the exclusive use of parcel number 2? Or only one parking space in it and somebody else, the ADU or the front house, will use the other parking space?
So it would be serving by SB 9 rules, they require one at grade. It can be open, uncover, 8 by 18. It can be on the driveway. And also the ADU, it can be on the driveway,
On the
uncovered.
driveway, because it would be blocking access for the other parking spaces, correct?
That is correct, but technically, they can share the driveway as far as parking, and SB 9, as far as when they do the lot split, it does allow them to use that flag stem under a covenant agreement to access parking on both parcels.
Okay. So when I visited the site, I could not see back there, but I did see a picture that you had of the ADU, which was sort of similar in style to the front house. So is that basically where the design aesthetic is coming from, to have consistency amongst the existing house on parcel 1, the ADU on parcel 2, and now this new house on the back?
I was led to the same idea or opinion of you're expressing right now. Although I think, the staff understands this is way in the back and it's highly concealed, but we would love to encourage, some embellishments there to encourage staff's opinion of a better design and bring that before the board. But yes, I tend to agree with you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I do have a question. Do you, you mentioned photos of the other structures on the site. Do you happen to have them available in your presentation? Just wanted to take a quick look. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's helpful to see. Got it. Yeah, and so the soffit, that was my question too, is the function of the soffit on this new structure. It looks like they're just mimicking the other structure, and that's why they have it that way.
Yeah.
Got it. But there's no function other than aesthetic, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Joe, I have a quick question. It's in regards to the parking. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that there's a rule, like an Assembly Bill rule, that basically cities don't need to enforce how many parking spots like a residence needs per se. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but something along those lines. But you stated that SB 9 requires that there be one parking spot, correct?
Correct, by SB 9, yes, for any SB 9 project, whether it be a lot split or SB 9 housing development. And I believe you may be referencing for AB 297, which the applicant can apply for.
Okay.
For residential projects, but this project did not request an AB 297
Okay.
application, right?
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Joe. We have, sorry. We have one speaker card. Bedros Darkjan? If you could just state your name, please.
Good evening, Bedros Darkchan, I'm the applicant. We've been working on this project with Mr. Dennis for about a year, maybe even more than that. The complication was the subdivision versus, the design, what we can have, and the setting of the structure, how it's gonna fit with its surroundings. So we decided, because they're two separate lots, but in reality, they're like one lot, they're open. There are two structures already existing and the garage, so we decided to go with the same style, and not exactly the same, but try to, create a balance on the lot. The proposed house is, I can say, 95% not visible from the street. It's completely behind the garage, the main house. The only visible part is probably, I say, 4 feet, 3-4 feet from the roof. You see the gable for the entryway, and you see, part of the parapet for the house. Other than that, I have nothing else to say, except I agree with the recommendation, except the window that, Mr. Dennis proposing, like especially the bedroom, it's 6 feet away from the garage. So, you're just staring at a wall. Nobody will see it, will not impact anyone. But then if it has to be there, it will be there. That's all what I have to say.
Thank you so much. Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah.
No, please go ahead. Okay. Mr. Darakchan, the question is regarding the kitchen.
The kitchen?
Kitchen,
Yes.
Where Mr. Dennis was proposing some type of an artwork or maybe a window. Is there any way that you can reorient the kitchen in a way that,
I mean, on the kitchen part, a window,
yeah,
probably we can deal with that.
yeah, because I understand maybe the bedroom is gonna be,
Yes.
you're gonna be seeing the garage, or back of the garage, but maybe if you can reconfigure the kitchen,
I
you
have no
might be able
problem
to
with that.
have a window there, so.
I
thank
will
you.
work on that with Mr. Joe.
Any other questions?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think there's potential for the sink and the oven to swap, and then you can look out the window from the sink. And So that's great to hear. I was just curious, so I know that you aren't designing in a vacuum. There are other buildings on the site, but it's
Yes.
feeling like you want it to be more modern. Is that accurate? I didn't know if
Roughly, yes.
in terms of if the Spanish tiles were something you're tied to. I was just wanted to check
In the
in.
beginning, we didn't even propose the barrels on the, parapet, but he said that they have, you have to bring it back so that
To the
at
Spanish
least,
tile.
there is balance.
Right, and the pitched roof at the front is the Spanish tile at the front. It's because you're mimicking that other structure. But that's something that, the direction you want to go is to reflect Spanish. I just wanted to check, because for me, it's feeling a little bit of both, and I was just trying to make it, see how we can make it more consistent. And so, yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on
Sorry, I didn't understand.
I guess what I'm trying to say is your preference for more Spanish or more modern in terms of the aesthetic of this home?
I mean, we don't want it more modern, then it's gonna conflict, because again, as I stated, there are 3 structures, on the same lot.
Right,
With the garage, it's 4. So
Right.
probably more balanced,
balanced.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No.
Nope. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any callers?
I do not see any callers.
Thank you very much. All right, we can go into deliberation. Ms. Welsh, if you would like to start.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Generally, I support the project. This is an odd site, and, no one is going to see it. You're right. I'd be surprised if there was even 5% that you could see from the street. So, I think I support staff's recommendations. It's something that we should do just as a matter of course, to have good practices. But I'm not real hard on things, because no one will ever see it. What they've done is something that is more consistent with what's surrounding it in the immediate context. The neighborhood context really isn't that applicable, but, we still want to encourage good design. I'm, sort of the mind that it doesn't need to be consistent. You could completely do something modern and different down here, and I would have been totally fine with that. We have modern homes going up next to traditional homes throughout Glendale all the time. It's not something that we put our, thumb on the scale to force somebody to adopt a certain style. But I understand why they would want to do something that's more internally consistent, because these houses are located all in very close proximity. And so having it feel more like a little community as opposed to 3 completely distinct things on a lot makes sense. So from that perspective, I'm fine with it. I do think that putting the window on the wall facing the garage is still a good idea. It's landscaped area. You could put bushes and, vines and things like that. So any room that has windows and light from 2 sides is automatically a better feeling room than one with only 1 window. So I do support that, even though it's facing a wall. Just put some green stuff in there, so it's a little bit more pleasant for a person sitting there not looking at it, just a concrete wall. I also agree with, doing something, I think, either restudying the design of the kitchen, so you could put a window there. A niche, I think, is okay too. Something that adds some visual interest instead of just that blank wall, because that blank wall is probably the most prominent feature that you will actually see. When you come around the garage there, all you'll see is that wall and, a bit of the entranceway, and that's really about it. So that's the most prominent wall that I think really needs to be addressed. So I think, the existing condition, or maybe a modification of the condition, as Board Member Haladjian was saying, of, restudying the kitchen design to provide for a window there, I think would be an appropriate solution. So with that, I'm done. I support the project with the conditions and happy to proceed.
Thank you. Board Member Bush, Board Member Lockroft, please.
Yeah, I agree. I do think there's a real opportunity to just swap the sink with the stove and have a window to that yard. And yeah, I would like to see that more windows on that facade. And then I agree with the window towards the garage, but it doesn't have to be a big window that's looking, it could be a clerestory window, but there could be some, just you can get natural light from higher up there and still break up the facade a little bit. And then otherwise, I was thinking, I know you're right that my colleague was mentioning how they're working with the existing conditions, and I get that, and it's not highly visible. But I think we could leave it the opportunity to the owner and the architect, if I was going to say as a consideration, if they wanted to make it purely modern. Just I feel like for me, it's straddling two different styles, and it would be nice to go one direction or the other, and it's feeling more modern than Spanish to me. And so I'd be open to that, and I'd like to throw that out there as a consideration. If they choose to move in that direction, I wouldn't be opposed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Board Member Halajian.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do agree with my colleagues. I think you guys put it very eloquently. I have nothing else to add. It's a challenging site with all the given existing conditions. So I do take the staff's recommendation and maybe modifying the kitchen layout so we can make that niche or the window. So yeah, overall in support of the project, but that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. And I do agree with my fellow board members as well. It is a very interesting site, but as our board member said, it's not going to be visible too much, but if there's areas where we can make some changes, like the windows, to make it a little bit more alive and maybe add some greenery to it, I think that would be a bonus. But in overall, I'm in support of the project. And yeah, I don't know if we want to like modify the existing condition that we had in regards to the kitchen. We can do that. If there's anything else.
Yeah, and I would say that a clear store window is probably not necessarily what you want, because let's think about this. At some point in time, that garage might come down. I mean, with the way they're
Right.
changing state laws, they may say, oh, get rid of the garage,
Right.
And if the garage disappears, then the house would be more visible. So I'd
see.
still like the look of the facade to
be
look
more
good,
balanced, yeah.
be balanced and look, more appropriate in that context. I doubt that would happen, but we have to consider the possibility.
Okay.
So that would be what I would say on that. In terms of the kitchen, the niche there, I think we could just rephrase the condition a little bit. It says, restudy that wall to provide visual interest, either through adjusting the kitchen layout to create the opportunity for a window on that facade, or in the alternative, study some kind of visual architectural device.
Sure. And also, you want to add about if they do add a window to the bedroom, I think there's some added value for light, air, ventilation, for health reasons, but also they can frost it. We'll give them the option or some obscuring if they're worried about other people, but
That would be their call.
yeah,
We don't really care.
we can leave it up to them, but, okay.
And I'm also in support of the consideration for if they want to go with a completely different modern design. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Right. For instance, if they wanted to straighten that front roof and just not have Spanish tile, for instance, that would,
Okay.
yeah, a consideration.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion with a modified condition number 3 to restudy the kitchen facade, either, by reprogramming either the kitchen so that a window can be added or some type of architectural embellishment, and also the added consideration of changing the aesthetic to a more modern design, and that can be, once again, as a consideration. Do we have a motion?
I'll second the motion.
Well, you'll make the motion,
I'm sorry, I'll make the motion.
and I'll second it.
Okay, very good. Okay, this will be roll call. Board Member Lockroff.
Yes.
Board Member Halajian.
Yes.
Board Member Welsh.
Yes.
Mr. Chair Kaskanian.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Okay, moving on. The department does not have any announcements. Do we have a motion to adjourn, or?
I'll move, we adjourn.
Okay,
Thank you.
so it's 5:51, and
Good luck.
Bye, good luck.
we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.